Bubba Wallace had a successful second half of the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series with high finishes that impressed fans worldwide. However, his behavior at Las Vegas, both on and off the track, left a negative impression. NASCAR suspended him for one race at Homestead, and Wallace had a chance to win at the LA Coliseum, but was spun out by Austin Dillon, and his reaction led to his penalty. This left fans wondering if NASCAR plans to enforce its rules more strictly in 2023. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the battle between Bubba Wallace and Austin Dillon at the Clash of the Los Angeles Coliseum race of 2023. But before we deep dive into this whole thing, please consider leaving a like on the video and also subscribing to the channel for more NASCAR updates and news in the future. The LA Coliseum NASCAR race, officially known as the Busch Light Clash of the Coliseum, is a NASCAR Cup Series race that takes place in Los Angeles, California, and it's unique that it's held on a temporary quarter-mile paved track that is built inside of the historic venue, which is more commonly used for football games and other events. This year's edition of the Clash, held in 2023, marks the event's 45th occurrence and is the second time in history that the race has taken place somewhere other than Daytona International Speedway, since its inception in 1979. Many fans were shocked on the 5th of February during this exhibition race, as there were no room for casual games. The competition was at its highest. Speaking of which, Bubba Wallace and Austin Dillon had an incredible battle that ended with drama and controversy. Ahead of all that, the Toyota Camry demonstrated its strength over the weekend by finishing second in its heat and maintaining that momentum in the main event. It was an intense race at the track, with Bubba Wallace showcasing incredible speed and leading the pack for 40 laps. It became increasingly clear that any one of the drivers could emerge victorious. However, his hold on the top spot was short-lived as Austin Dillon managed to overtake him, with Truex taking the lead. Wallace, determined to regain his position, kept pushing himself and managed to overtake Dillon with only 7 laps remaining. But his joy was short-lived as Dillon responded by positioning himself behind Wallace and pushing him into the first turn, causing him to spin out. The incident meant that Wallace had to wait for the rest of the field to pass him before he could get his car back into the race. However, as he attempted to rejoin the field, things got heated. He waited for Dillon to pass underneath him and then tried to slam into him, leading to a penalty for Wallace. This incident highlights the intense competition and pressure that the drivers face in every race. The slightest mistake or misjudgment can have a significant impact on the outcome of the race. In this case, Wallace's determination to regain the lead led to a heated confrontation with Dillon that resulted in a penalty. As for the other drivers, each one of them continued to push themselves, trying to gain an advantage over the other. With every lap, the tension and excitement mounted as the drivers battled out for the top spot. But for Wallace, though, sadly, the race ended with him being penalized by the NASCAR officials. As stated on NASCAR's infraction sheet, he was sent to the back of the field on lap 143 due to reckless driving. This left many fans and even drivers wondering about if NASCAR is stricter for their rules for the 2023 season, a topic which we discussed on this channel before in another video that you can watch, where we talked about the potential for new plans that the NASCAR regulators have in mind to further strengthen the rules. But the thing is, 3 months prior to the Las Vegas incident between Wallace and Larson, Dillon had a comparable situation with Brad Keselowski at New Hampshire. Dillon also swerved in front of Keselowski's car under caution, causing him to collide with Dillon's car and sending it into the grass. Unlike Wallace, Keselowski was not sanctioned, suggesting that NASCAR will enforce its regulations more stringently than in the past season. Despite Wallace's apology, many people agreed with the penalty, including Cal Petty, who stated, "should have been suspended for the remainder of the year." After the Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum, Wallace was visibly upset and displayed his annoyance and displeasure with the situation. Additionally, his rough nature of the race prompted a response from two-time champion Kyle Busch. However, his post-race commentary conveyed a sense of disappointment. He said, "Last year's show, I felt like it was relatively clean and good racing, some bumping, some banging, but we could go for long stretches of green flag action." He later said this, "Today I would call it a disaster, with the disrespect from everybody of just driving through each other and not just letting everything kind of work its way out." During a Fox NASCAR interview, Bob Pockrass asked Wallace about this intense race with Dillon, and in response, Wallace said this, "We were really good at the first half of the race, obviously, and then all those cautions," he added. "It is what it is. I got run into a fence by him down the straightaway on that restart, so I gave him a shot and then we got dumped. Despite all cautions, the first half of the race was incredibly strong for us. I wasn't sure if I was allowing it to get too hot or too chilly. After falling back to fourth, I understood that I had allowed it to become too cold. I was kicking myself for that, he said, but I immediately adjusted. But when Dillion was asked about the incident, he said, I hate it for Bubba. He had a good car and a good run, but you can't tell who's either pushing him or getting pushed. I just know he sent me through the corner and I saved it 3 times through there. Releasing the brake, all kinds of stuff. What do you think of all of this? Do you think Wallace really deserved this penalty that he got? Or do you think that NASCAR should enforce more rules like this to ensure the safety of everyone on the track? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section down below. And don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe for more videos like this.
Sponsored by Credit One Bank, and make a mark on where to start, finish all the way back through the tri-oval.